I'm live! This was really, really fun to do yesterday, so I decided to get on and do it again today. And honestly, it's kind of keeping me sane. I've been in the hotel room since Monday and just kind of hanging out because it's a big new world out there, this Dania Beach, Florida. And I just really don't know the area that well. I see some people walking around, but I just prefer to wait until Luke is here for me to get out and about. But I got a nice big window view here, so that's cool. I think I'm gonna bring out the binoculars later and see how far I can see. But I just decided to get on here and say hello and see what everyone's up to today. I've just been doing some reading. Where's my book at? Did I leave it in my purse? Let me grab it. I think I showed you all yesterday that I'm reading The More or Less Definitive Guide to Self-Care by Anna Borges. I don't know how to say her last name. If anyone knows, please let me know. But it's pretty cool. It's got like it's a fun book. It's got like an A to Z of self-care that you can do, some things you might not have regularly thought about in the past or ever thought about, but it's pretty neat. I like it. I believe I'm in T now. Yeah, I'm in T. And the first one is actually T-E-A. So this is a pretty fun book. I like this. My cousin got it for me. Probably finish it today because Luke gets home by 4:30. So I'll probably do this live stream and then I'll do some more reading. Housekeeping finally came. That makes me a very happy girl. They have new precautions. I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but in case you guys didn't know, we traveled down to Dania Beach, Florida for Luke's working job interview. So we're here for work, or otherwise we wouldn't have traveled. And we were thinking about moving here. We don't really know how we're feeling about that now. We're kind of leaning 80% towards staying in Oklahoma at this point in time, but we'll have to see. Someone just texted me, sorry. This is what it looks like when I went, my aunt's texting me. But anywho, there's new guidelines and rules. So apparently when you check in a hotel now, the housekeeping will not come and clean your room unless you request it. So we had trash just piling up in the room. And if you guys, any of y'all know me, you know I'm a clean freak. So I just spit a little bit. That was kind of gross. But they weren't coming and cleaning. And so, like a few days ago, I called and was like, hey, can, they maybe come and replace a few things? And they said they would. And then yesterday I called again. They said they would come. Today I went down to the front desk. And it was like 2 p.m. and I had given up. And guess what? They came. So excited. So I went downstairs with my mask on and I read for a little bit. Came back up to a very nice and clean room. And that made me a happy gal. And basically I've just been hanging out, having time to think, having time to do my makeup in the morning, which has been really fun. Because that's something at home I usually won't do. I'll start cleaning and think of all the other things that need to be done. And I don't really take a lot of time for self-care. Luke's always telling me, take time for yourself. And I'm like, yeah, I can wait. But really, it makes you feel a lot better if you get up. And I mean, if you don't do makeup, that's cool. But for me, getting up and doing my makeup and hair makes me feel more awake and energized. And then I start, cleaning. That's good too. For me, I like to read. I've been able to read a lot more here. So I'm just kind of thinking back to the things I actually enjoy doing and doing those things. I've been a lot less stressed here just because I've had more time for myself and to think. So I've been watching a little TV, which is not something I usually do. So that's interesting. But yeah, Luke's all worried about me. He's like, I'm just worried you're stuck in the hotel room. And I'm like, no, this is you're having to work. I'm here and I get to relax and just chill and get to know myself better and think about the things that are important to me. we watched this movie last night called Just Mercy, and if you've never seen it, like really thinking about it right now, it's like making me want to cry. I'm about to start my period, so that probably doesn't help. I'm super emotional right now, but it's amazing. It would make you emotional even if you weren't about to start your period, because it's phenomenal. It focuses a lot on racism, and it focuses on how do I explain it? It focuses on racial disparities, and it's based on a true story. And I don't want to ruin it, but it's amazing. If you haven't watched Just Mercy, please watch it. First off, if you're on the fence at all about this kind of heavy, I guess I wasn't meaning for this to be a heavy video, but whatever your opinion might be in the death penalty, watch this film. Also, I never really liked the idea of the death penalty. Just it's a personal, I don't like the idea of it, because for me, there's people on death row that have been on death row for a while, and they don't have definitive evidence. They're old cases, or it's eyewitnesses, and a lot of times, if you look into the statistics, people have actually gotten it wrong, because when you're in an emotional state, you don't always remember things so clear. And each time you remember them, you're actually just remembering the memory. Interesting. But anyway, basically what I'm trying to get to is, if you believe in the death penalty, if you don't, if you're on the fence about it, watch Just Mercy, and also read the autobiography of an execution. I think that's by Josh G. Rowe. John. You know what? Let me look it up real fast, because it's been a while. Autobiography of an execution. It's been a few years since I've read it, so I'm trying to make sure I give you the author's name correctly. It's David R. Doe. What did I say? Josh D. Rowe? Yeah, David R. Doe, The Autobiography of an Execution. It's an absolutely amazing book. I highly recommend it. But anyway, somehow this circles back to things that I want to do when I get home. And one of the things I'm really passionate about is racial disparity, because it's just messed up, that that people are treated differently based on the color of their skin or where they live. It's upsetting, I mean, it's upsetting for me, and I'm a white woman. So imagine what minority groups go through on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I know it's not always happy to think about, but we have that luxury and that privilege to not have to think about it day in and day out. As a white woman, I have that privilege, but it's they don't have that privilege. Okay, minorities live that, so whereas we maybe, and this is something I try to explain to my older family members sometimes, who say, oh, well, we just grew up in different times. Well, that's really no excuse, in my opinion, because we're not that in those times anymore, and it was never okay. But what I try to explain to them when they don't understand their privilege, because I'm like, you guys are privileged, and they're like, no, we're not. I'm like, yeah, you are, because one of my privileges is that whenever I get into a car to drive, and maybe a cop will turn his lights on, and maybe I'm speeding or something, and I get pulled over, well, oh man, I hope I don't get a ticket. Okay, that's my first thought. But from what I have heard from minorities, African American friends of mine, is when they get pulled over, they have to worry about, oh, I hope that I don't get shot and killed today. Okay, that's the things they have to think about. They have to think about being respectful to the officer. They have to think about keeping their hands where they can see them. I mean, it's not okay, but it's a reality that they have to live through daily. So I don't know how I got here, but the movie Just Mercy, just watch it. it's an amazing film. But I think I was trying to get back to whenever we get back home to Oklahoma. I'm not, because I watched that film yesterday. That's how I got there. But to switch subjects a little bit real fast, whenever we get back to Oklahoma, I've just been thinking about things that I want to do and things that I've been wanting to do, but I haven't held myself accountable to. Like, it's easier to just, well, I mean, with COVID, it's hard to get out and do things anyway, but, you know, things are important. Like, I want to volunteer more, you know, like to help minority groups and also to help the homeless. I have a heart for the homeless as well, because my little brother, he is 28. We're like 2 years apart. He's a Libra as well. And he is schizophrenic. So his mind is basically that of like a 12 or 13-year-old. So he kind of needs round the clock care, just because he has been involved with some bad people before and kind of like, you know, into drugs and things. So he just needs reminders to brush his teeth and different things like that. So when my grandmother does pass away, which is a hard reality to face, but one day it will happen, my husband and I will be taking care of my baby brother, which I'm so excited about because I love him so much. And you know, he was like my best friend, you know, before his mental illness kind of took over. We would hang out all the time and we would just laugh at each other's jokes. And just, he was my best friend, you know? So it's going to be cool to help him out and help rehabilitate him. And my husband and I have a lot of big plans for him. And I'm just really excited. But, you know, it's great that he has family to take care of him, but back to the point is, if he didn't have family to take care of him, he would be one of those people. He could be on the side of the road with no family. And, you know, I hear a lot of people that say, oh, well, they could get a job, or, you know, I can do it, so can they. But you really can't do that. You can't be like that, because you don't know. Someone can look like they're normal, but you don't know their story. I mean, especially with right now. I mean, well, first off, let's just go through the list, okay? So you see someone on the side of the road, okay, and you think, oh, whatever you think, you know, they should get a job, or they shouldn't be asking for help or whatever. Well, they could be veterans, okay? They could have fought in the war. They could have fought for your freedom. And now let's say they get back and the VA is not helping them out, okay? And they can't get the help they need, and maybe they have PTSD. Maybe they have, you know, some mental issues from seeing their friends and their brothers and their sisters get blown up and killed right in front of them, okay? Let's say that they lost some limbs. I mean, you never know. And a lot of these men and women are veterans that can't get the help that they need. So that's something that, as a society, we need to focus on. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I definitely don't, but I like to open up the conversation and the discussion and just figure out what we can do. But one thing that I've thought maybe I can do is volunteer some of my time, because these are things I think about a lot, and I feel like if I was actually doing something, I could be helping instead of just thinking about it, you know, like thinking about all the things I could do, like actually go out and maybe, you know, volunteer a little bit of my time. But anyway, the second thing is they could be mentally ill. Okay, so for my brother, for example, if he didn't have family, he could be out on the streets. Now, with mentally ill people, maybe if you don't know someone or you've never experienced any mental illnesses, you won't understand. But a lot of people will say, oh, you know, they see somebody on the side of the road, oh, they're just druggies. Well, with mental illness comes drugs a lot of the time, because for someone with schizophrenia or bipolar disorder like myself, a lot of people will go to substances and they will use those substances to try to feel more normal, or for my brother, try to get rid of his hallucinations, or, his negative mindset or whatever. So yes, some of them are on drugs, but a lot of that could be caused by mental illness, a depression, so that's something to think about. A third thing is right now with COVID being such a big deal. I mean, it's we live it, so you guys know I don't have to explain it. But right now, the majority of people are protected from being thrown out of their homes. But come end of December, those protections are no longer there. We don't have anything put in place yet in the United States anyway. I don't know how it is in other countries, but in the United States, we don't have anything put into place where people cannot be thrown out of their homes. So right now, what they're doing in the majority of places here in the States is they're just taking the money and adding it on to the end. So they're not giving anybody a free pass. They're taking the money that people should be paying for their rent and they're adding it on to the end of their mortgage. That's all they're doing. Okay. What I'm saying is why can't we continue to do that? But no, come December 31st, if you don't pay your rent, you're out of your house, which is so sad because there's so many people right now that they don't have jobs. They're not able to get to their jobs and also take care of their children who are out of school. They're not able to live the same types of lifestyles. They're not able to get food. There's so many food banks open right now. And back to that point, come December 31st, there's going to be a lot more homeless people here in the United States. So maybe some of those people that you've been looking at thinking, oh, they need to get a job, or, oh, I'm better than them, that could be you. So I don't know. I don't know how we got here, but we're here. But all I'm saying is just maybe try not to be so judgmental when you see those homeless people on the street, because in this day and age, it could be any of us. And we're all lucky that, the ones of us that still have homes to live in and food to eat. And I mean, shoot, we're in a freaking job interview right now in Dania Beach, Florida, and some people don't have homes, and it makes you feel guilty in a way, like, why do I deserve this? But also, I try not to go there because it takes me into a dark place with my mental illness. But I just have to focus on the fact that I'm very thankful for what I have, but I am no better than anybody else. And at any point in time, I could be in that same situation. And I just wouldn't want to be looked down upon, So anyway, that's my spiel for the day. But I appreciate you guys listening and hanging out with me. And I was kind of hoping some people would come in and chat with me, because this is kind of where I go to get my social key for the day. So hopefully someone will jump on in a minute and hang out with me. Another thing, I heard that the UK actually had someone in my live stream yesterday that was really neat. I had someone from the Philippines, someone from the UK, someone from Oklahoma, someone from Texas, and a few other people jumped in and out. But it was neat because she came on and was like, hey, we got our vaccine for COVID today in the UK. And I was like, that's amazing. That's so cool. So it'll just be really neat and interesting to see how fast they implement it everywhere. I know they said something like maybe our first batches are coming out this weekend in the United States, but they're not for sure on that. And of course, the elderly in long-term care facilities and our frontline workers, like our nurses, our doctors will be the first ones to receive that, which is how it should be. But that's kind of what's going on here. And I've just been watching the news and trying to keep up, and also still trying to remain positive through it all. And, just in the airport, like, we masked up, we double masked. We just tried to social distance as much as we could. We used hand sanitizer as much as we could and washed our hands. And I don't know if I told you all already, but I did record it earlier. I'm also making a video while I'm here of just short clips of what we're doing in Florida. But when we get back, we'll be doing a COVID test. I might have already told you all this. I can't remember. But we're going to isolate until our negative results come back, and then we can push forward through there. I think I did tell you all that. But that's kind of what's going on right now. Luke will be home in like an hour and a half, and then we'll have to find something to eat. Boom, 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 boom. I was also considering, I've been talking to my agent, and I was considering getting back into acting in January. Some of you all might know I did some acting before. I had some bad experiences with the community. I mean, the people, the actors, and my agency is amazing. The Tab agency is the best agency ever. I really feel like that. But, you know, there's people who get into the film industry and they abuse actors, they abuse crew. And I worked on a really, really horrible film set. Well, it was a series, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way and pushed me out, and I didn't want to do it from then on. And then also COVID was a thing. I did do one film after that called CIA. It was like a kids film. You guys can look it up if you want. I don't even know. It might be out. I don't know. I usually don't know. Usually people will just call me and be like, "Hey, Dolly, I saw you on this." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I did that," because sometimes it takes a few years for films to come out. But it was a really fun role. CIA was super awesome, super fun. So if you do see that out, let me know so I can watch it. But yeah, it's kind of awkward watching yourself on TV. I don't know. But anyway, I'm thinking about possibly getting back into acting come 2021. I'm still very concerned about COVID because although the film industry is pretty awesome as far as like protective gear and all that, sometimes when you're actually in front of the camera, you can't always wear masks. And, you have to make it look realistic so you can do what you do. I noticed a lot of films and TV shows have been implementing masks into their series, and I think that's really cool. Like, I would love to be on a series where I could actually wear a mask. That would be super awesome. But it's not always the case, so we'll see how it goes. But I see that there's one person in here, and I wish that you would say hi to me so I know who you were, because it doesn't show me on my end. Like, it just shows me there's a person in here, but I can't see who they are. So I'm going to write hello person in the chat and see if you respond. Hello person. It's a string for my pants. Okay, I guess it's getting a little boring now. That's really all I have to talk about. Thank you all for watching my video. And if there's anything else you'd like to chat about, like if you'd like me to set up a live stream for a certain time between now and Friday, let me know. Luke gets off work at 4:30, so preferably I'd like to do live streams before he gets home so I can just spend some time with him after work. But if y'all have any topics you'd like to chat about or just hang out, let me know and we can set up a time. Like right now here, it's 3 p.m., so it might be different where you are. We'll have to figure out the time discrepancies. But let me know because I'm here. I'm here at your pleasure, just hanging out in the hotel room. Okay, well, I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you have an awesome hump day. Bye.